So we're starting to record.
You are starting to record.
We're starting to
You haven't
record.
even meeting yet.
Well, we start at 6.
Okay.
But,
There you go.
Hi, Grace.
How are you?
hey, John. How you doing?
Do we have high resolution images?
Oh, we have a map, yeah.
Right.
A part of it, not for the whole thing.
Something that I can look at on my computer.
I can send
They're
it.
not
I can
high
send you a
resolution,
picture.
they're
Yeah.
really difficult to look at.
Have you seen this?
Okay.
Have you seen this at the meeting? Something like
I
that?
was there, I saw that, and I immediately started asking, where can we get the high resolution images?
Oh, that's
And
good.
everybody pointed me to somebody else.
Well, let me ask you.
Yay.
I have your email, so if I can get it, I'd be happy to send it to you.
I would love that. They're probably really big, right? So they're hard to send.
No, but we can get you a link.
A link where I can download.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Jeff, they can still in your pen, because mine.
I have some here now.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, you should.
So one question is, where is the microphone? When people speak, what microphone are they speaking?
That one.
That one
And
there?
apparently it reaches everybody.
Howard,
Yeah,
Mary says she's gonna be about 10 minutes late.
okay.
In
Great.
person or on Zoom?
She just texted, so,
Robin's there.
1, 2, 3, 4, okay.
Linda, you're here. So we can, this is recording.
Okay.
So you want to record too?
Yeah, sure.
Just as backup? Okay. But in future, this is going to be the format with the meeting here recorded.
You're gonna have in person.
And the Zoom link will now be available every,
It'll be hybrid, so you can do Zoom or in person. Well, sometimes in person, are you always gonna be in person? We're
yes,
gonna try, yeah. Oh, okay, 'cause I thought it was
typically
gonna
now.
be 4 times a year, I thought you said.
We were, then after last Wednesday, when
Was
we
that
couldn't,
you did?
when we couldn't get on Zoom last week, we
Oh.
said, you know, there's so much going on right now, let's just do it in person, do it with Zoom. If we don't need it a year from now,
Okay.
we won't, but for
Well,
this year.
I'll admit, I'll see what happens in the
Can I
bad
write it
weather
here?
from now
Oh, I think I
on.
have it, John.
Well, just tell me how,
You
what you
might
want
have
to
it.
update the
Oh, it's very
calendar,
simple.
update the calendar that
Is it
way.
yours?
So you're telling me now, update the calendar that it's always in person, and with Zoom. And I sent Yvonne a question about
Might
Zoom
not be,
because
but I'd like
she
to
said
be.
Zoom was set up from now until April 12th for 7 days.
One
Well,
with
you
letter.
need it done monthly, no,
775.
so it's confusing how,
Oh,
what she said it was set up was repeated, but it was repeated daily, not once a month, so I did send her an email saying, what's up with that?
you're running off your laptop.
No, this is all time. So the only way I would use my laptop now is, hey Jeff.
So
Is it,
where's the town laptop? Is that the town
it's
laptop?
actually just a TV.
The computer itself, if that's a computer and that's,
Oh.
that's a Zoom, so that's how the planning board and the CBA,
Sure.
that they use it.
They just use the TV, which has the.
I mean, it is a computer, that's essentially a monitor, right? So, yeah.
Was it like a smart TV, is that?
Yeah, it's a real, I think, yeah, it's got different inputs, so.
So, do I need to check for people in the waiting room or do they automatically get admitted now?
Check your participants list, I think everyone should be doing it.
Robin's up here.
Robin's
in, man.
Robin, wave if you can hear us.
Hello, Robin.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hi.
Hear you, Robin.
no, Robin's up mute.
Can you turn on the TV up? Or can you turn the TV up with the remote instead of?
Robin's a choice. That's a good choice.
Turn it on.
Try talking now, Robin.
I still look blocked on my screen.
Do your volume, check your volume, Robin.
Well, she may be.
I can hear you.
She can hear us.
The camera's on.
Only because you've got 2 links.
Cameras
Yeah,
on.
you have to, she has to go out and come in because I think the 2 links is messing around.
Can you turn the volume up on this one? Is there volume?
This one?
Yeah.
Well, on the OK button, there's a
Oh, there's
thing.
no volume?
don't see volume on that. Which is like, I can put on Netflix.
Well, I think Robin needs to go out and come back in, and we need to get rid of her, she's there twice. And that might be
Okay.
Well,
Is anybody else in the meeting?
I'm not sure what the speaker system is here for that, so one thing you could do is join from the laptop and just have her
You
run
can-
your audio in case that's the issue.
there she is.
How about now, Robin? Can you
Better? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
This may not have her volume on.
Well, it just may be that, I don't know what speakers we have that this can use.
I made Robin a co-host.
Is that sound bar on?
You can at least hear from there.
You're now a co-host, Robin.
I can't.
No,
We need to read lips.
Yeah, because I don't know if this is a speaker. I don't think we typically have people talking here, but
That's okay.
if Jeff can join on the computer, then you can maybe hear her through there. Unless it's.
She's not on mute.
not on me.
Well, it's okay.
Can you hear us, Robin?
Okay.
Okay,
So
Not
just
if
give us
it's
a
a
thumbs
meeting.
up. Let's start the meeting and get the
Yeah.
minutes going and we'll.
Well, ZBA, I believe, only does it where it's listening only for the audience. So-
Typically, that's gonna be us.
Yeah, but, so I don't know if that's a limitation of this setup.
No, if someone said they want to be on the agenda and to speak at the meeting,
Yeah.
then you do what I just did. I make Robin the person that co-hosts, and then they can speak.
We still
As a
can't hear.
But I don't think that this has a speaker.
But
I
we
don't
still
know if
can't
this
hear.
number is hooked up.
So so far we
Yeah.
haven't,
We may need to figure out what the speaker system.
so we have, so this is our, let's look forward for tonight.
But you can get on the.
Robin's here and can provide a quorum because we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
yeah.
So we've got a quorum, we're all good.
Oh, so you're counting, yeah, Robin, right?
Counting Robin
Yeah.
for this
She can
meeting.
hear us and she can do
And she-
that.
She can vote.
Okay, if you need to say something, Robin, put it in the chat and we can read it.
Well, Robin, do you have our phone numbers, Robin? I mean, if you wanted to say something to me, I'd be happy to have you call me and I can put you on speaker.
That's it.
So that's the other alternative is call somebody in the room here.
Yeah.
We can put you on
She has my
speaker.
number.
She can put speaker to speaker.
Okay. All right, so we
Okay.
start the
Yeah,
meeting.
yeah, the next meeting, if everybody's gonna be here, is April 28th,
Obviously.
okay? And from now on, we will have all of the meetings both in person at the Como and by Zoom. Okay, we're not sure, that we haven't reserved the Como yet, so it may be
I think we're good.
conflicting, it might conflict with town board meetings, someone,
Oh, because well,
I was looking and I didn't see the conflict.
okay.
September, November. I
November, we're moving a week forward. And I
Okay.
told Yvonne that November, December, we have to be flexible because of the holidays being the fourth.
Okay, well, I believe that
Yeah.
September and November are the 2 months when the town board meetings are the 4th Tuesday.
Okay,
Okay,
so we'll look around.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
September, November.
That's okay.
okay, did anybody get a chance to look at the last month's committee minutes? I sent them out to you with the agenda.
Robin?
Did you get a chance to look at the last month's committee meeting?
Robin's good
Okay.
with the minutes.
And I'm good with the minutes,
Two,
so we have enough, okay,
3,
minutes are carried,
okay.
okay. Next, on the agenda.
sign in case you.
was, from June, Salato, who was on the zoning board,
So,
she sent an email, she could not be here tonight.
sounds like the Oscars. Yeah, June could not make the meeting tonight. But one of the items on the agenda was to add signage at the Tannery Brook and Maple Lane intersections where it says no stopping. Because we have cars illegally stopping close to those intersections.
It says no parking, and they stopped.
It says no
Just to
parking.
be clear, you're talking about two separate intersections.
Correct.
Tannery Brook
And Maple Lane.
and Maple.
With Tinker Street and Mill Hill Road.
And she's requesting that those be turned into stop signs,
No stopping.
no stopping, rather than no
When,
parking.
when we were walking on one of our walks to Tinker Street, along Tinker Street, we met one of the police officers just by chance. And discussed it with him, and he said, a sign has to say, no stopping, no parking, no stopping, no idling. You have to have all three. If you don't have all three, if it just says no and one of them, and someone leaves their car idling and runs into a shop, technically, the police won't ticket that vehicle. So if we have all three, so this is something we need to bring up with DOT and see and talk to the civic design people again, because this will be more signage.
Or signage, and we also don't know who is in charge of putting those kinds of signs at those particular things.
Well, it has to be a law. The town board has to pass the law.
That's okay, the law.
Well, I think starting with the DOT is a good place to start, because DOT tells you what they allow and what they don't allow.
Somebody has to pass the law, signs by themselves.
Well, we've worked with the town board on new parking lot signage. Those went to DOT to approve them. They changed them because we worked with David Eckler particularly to have kind
Make
of.
our green carbon.
And he's DOT.
Yeah, David's from Carbon.
So we worked to have some kind of signs that spoke a little bit more to Woodstock. They were white letters on a green ground, just the letter P, because we just thought it would be less overbearing to have these signs.
And less clutter.
And less clutter and non-reflective.
And DOT said you can't have any of that. If you want parking lot signage, they have to be high-vis reflective. They have to be a white ground with green letters, am I right? So,
Yeah.
and you have to have the full
White
parking.
background.
So you can have
You
big,
can't say P.
you can have big P and parking. You have to have all of that to get a sign. So we're actually going to be, hopefully on the next agenda, on one of the next agendas, to present those parking lot signs. And the reason for those parking lot signs, John, you should hear, is we have just found that our parking lots are invisible to tourists and visitors. So they're scrambling and pulling U-turns to grab the last street parking spots. So we want to change that. And it's $2,000. It's not a huge expense. It's around $2,000.
Well, my point is just that on-street parking, people don't know this, but every sign has a law to back it up.
Yeah,
The sign by itself doesn't mean anything.
correct. Exactly. That's right.
Yeah, but I think it makes sense to get the DOT permission. It's a series of steps, and getting the town to pass the law. I would expect the town certainly will, but making sure the DOT approves is a good first step.
Will allow it to
I
be
agree.
there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
We also need to work with the police department to know that these signs,
will be enforced.
yeah, we'd like some support from the police to do that.
Oh, you are on tomorrow's agenda, by the way, Complete Streets discussion regarding signs.
Is that for tomorrow's meeting?
You're on the agenda for tomorrow.
Oh, so that's what we're
Good thing
doing.
we knew.
Good thing you brought it up.
Good thing you have a liaison here.
Not me, I won't be here.
I'll do it.
You're
That's
on
fine.
your own. Right.
But there's Zoom,
That's
from your
fine.
flight, you can get.
And
Yeah,
so,
that's fine. So we're presenting those tomorrow.
okay, there was another thing in Jude's,
Jude's request?
email, yeah.
Howard, is your agenda on? I don't see it.
The agenda was sent last week. I
I
think
mean, it's not, you didn't send it out to people.
I-
it
I'm
was
not-
the agenda was sent last week with the Zoom link
With the
that didn't
Zoom,
work.
Right,
Right.
so there's no agenda on this town calendar.
You're
Not today.
you're correct. I did not, I didn't post it. I didn't see it. My apologies
Okay,
if it's in my inbox, I'll look at it now and post it a little late, but better late than never.
Yeah, so
So-
maybe from now on, you're gonna post the agendas along with the Zoom.
Well, just to clarify, as the person who does the posting, I post when somebody sends it to me and says, please post.
gotcha.
So it's good to send me an agenda and say, please post. And when you want me to post minutes, it's good to send me minutes and say,
It's
please
just
post.
easier to follow along when you know what the agenda, you guys know what it is, right?
No, I'm with you.
But thank you.
Jude's other request was about the public meetings, record and post on YouTube. Make all materials, including maps, grant applications, meeting minutes, etc., available to the community. So I think this format will now assist
Address.
that
Yeah.
process. In this way, everyone can follow along.
Does this create like a YouTube link and is it like?
This is
publicly up?
recording, and the town will then post it.
Post it on YouTube.
And then how do you get the actual
Recording?
URL for that?
There is on the website, if you were to look on the website, and if you look in the boards and committees, which I'm not tied in with Zoom, but if you go to the website, use the boards and committees navigator at the top, and the second item on that is YouTube channel.
Okay.
And there's one YouTube channel where everything for the town is, so it has to get posted by the supervisor secretary, but it gets recorded by the town Zoom and the supervisor secretary posts it, and then you would search on Complete Streets.
Okay, great.
Okay, so,
We're good.
that was Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay, the next item is a review of the community meeting.
Yeah.
So, I think it was a really important move because, we had not been, able to schedule a community meeting until then. And people were, understandably riled up by not getting the information. Even though we were quite anxious to get it out there ourselves. So I think that it was a big move to be able to do that. And, Lindsay, our traffic engineer, who is the traffic engineer for the town, we got a grant to, hire Lindsay. And I think she's spectacular, both in the work that she has created in order to help make this project something that's usable by people in the town and not just by trucks. And she's also quite eloquent in describing what it is that's happening and what the options are. So subsequent to that meeting, she will be preparing another map that includes some of the requests that she heard. Like, for example, designating where trees would be planted.
We're hoping as early as next week. Yeah.
May I ask a question? So I know when Howard and I walked the stretch, the post to post stretch, was specifically from the Woodstock Post Office to Bearsville Complex. There were some trees, in a perfect world, we would just go around them. Will Lindsay be, because I believe a combination of what trees can go, we go around, what trees might we be able to move, because the tree committee planted some trees that are still relatively freshly, maybe a year or two. But I personally moved a tree myself that was taller than a tree at my house. I dug it up carefully, moved it, and that was a couple of years ago, and it's still doing fine. So it'd be nice if we knew, as Lindsay, at some point, maybe she's not able to do that this iteration, but I would like to know what trees can we go around, what trees that are young that the tree committee planted might we be able to move. And then the other thing Howard and I realized is some trees are actually, in the next 5 years, they'll probably have to come down for safety reasons because they're dead. So, or they're dying, and in 5 or 10 years, they'll be down anyway for safety reasons. It would be nice, I think, to know if at some point we can have all that mapped out, so we really know how many trees are left that are protected.
I think that would be great, and Lindsay knows that we have those requests. And she is also trying to incorporate the DOT landscape designer in the next meeting.
Excellent.
Just to
clarify all of those issues and to make it easy.
You're saying that the DOT landscape designer that's on staff.
That's on staff at DOT.
Just to clarify what I said about having a map for next week, that's for the initial project from
Rock
Village
City
Street,
to
Rock City to
Post.
Post Office.
Right.
So Anula has talked to Lindsay, given her an outline from what she got. And that map is now coming together,
Excellent.
right, which has all the parking shown. You would have the sidewalks in all the way to the post office on both sides of the street.
There's the trees that would be planted.
There's no eminent domain in that section. Everything falls within the right of way. Everything that Complete Streets has asked is really just a tweak in the safety to what DOT is gonna do anyway. So they're gonna put those sidewalks in. We've added a lot of safety features into that, which are Complete Streets features, which are
Traffic calming.
traffic calming, but also the bump outs, adding a new crosswalk at at Tenor Brook Road across
Those
the
are,
street.
those
They're
are
huge.
traffic calming measures.
They're
as well
huge
as
ones.
yeah.
And
As
the
you
bump
walk,
out will also save what people have questioned, the tree at Allison.
so just to talk about the side path, the shared path coming in from
So
Bearsden.
if I can just want to make sure that everybody gets that what Lindsay is now putting together with the feedback from Anula and request is basically an updated map of the, what she called the sidewalk plus
Correct.
core project from Village Green to post office.
So
And do wood stuff with it.
but I wanted
What's
to,
that?
so there's one thing, there's one switch, there's one new update, I think, too. So Lindsay had really thought that if we get financing for the shared path, it should come in beyond the post office, closer to Woodstock.
Closer to like Orchard Lane.
Yes,
Correct.
exactly.
Correct. Almost, and her thinking for that was because when you get to that part of the town, that's where you really feel like you're in town and cars automatically really start to slow down. And that would be a better transition off of the shared bike pedestrian path into just sidewalks. I think now what we're gonna see in the map is gonna be the sidewalks. Lindsay's agreed that the transition can happen at the post office. But with that happening, where you transition from a shared bike pedestrian path from Bearsden to the sidewalk on the south side of Tinker Street, that you should then make that transition obvious to drivers. So the post office will become and you have to make it look like an entry point. So drivers realize they're coming into a village, so you need to slow down. There's a transition there. So we talked about that first crosswalk being a raised crosswalk. So we'll have raised crosswalks at Village Green, Rock City Road, Mill Hill Road, Tinker Street, and then we'll have one raised crosswalk as you're coming in from Bearsden. So cars really know to slow down, and that's the transition to coming into the village and the town.
A significant change will also be at the Village Green. Which will be a square, a raised square. It won't just be a raised
Crosswalk, it will be a raised
It'll be a
platform,
raised platform square,
A table.
a table, so that,
which is what's on the map that she was showing us.
it'll make things much safer than that triangular setup that's there right now, which nobody knows what to do with.
So if the plan is being revised to propose that the crosswalk be where DOT, I think originally had put it at the post office, does that mean there won't be a crosswalk at Tinker Cinema?
We don't know.
We don't know.
That's all, that's
We
all
don't
playful.
Okay.
Yeah, that we can still
I think there
look
should
at the
be,
plans.
It-
Well, based on the person still suffering from their injuries, that they.
That's my concern.
They're still,
We have-
that
we
person
have
is
pedestrian-
still suffering from their injuries.
there's also a possibility, however, that parking will be switched from the south side by the cinema to the north side. Okay, which will make, I think it's called a charrette,
Chicane.
that it's going to,
Slow down.
turn a little curve from that straightaway. That will also be traffic calming.
And that'll be between Lindsay and DOT.
And DOT.
Because DOT has all the parking on the south side, Lindsay has a reason to put the parking by the movie theater and Alpers on the north side, that'll come between them. Yeah, we really have to lay out the parking too, because what we've been saying, where there are some mature trees in that small section beyond the shack, getting out to the Commode property, we can, right now, cars can park on that entire section. But you could say, this one section in front of this one parking spot, in front of this tree, you could, let's say, put a little bump out there to protect that tree from coming down. Yes, you would lose one parking spot, but I think that would be a win for everybody, to lose one parking spot and to save that mature tree. So these are the things we have to work through.
One other comment, that I think it's really important that Lindsay will do this, I know as a matter of course.
Yeah.
But that transition zone that we're talking about between the
shared path.
What we're now talking,
sidewalk, yeah.
what we're now talking, crosswalk at the post office and then transition from a side path to the sidewalk. There's also going to be a transition there for for cyclists who will need to merge with traffic.
Yes.
So they'll be merging into the travel lane, and that's another reason to have very good traffic calming measures there and really good signage so that everybody, motorists, cyclists, pedestrians, knows what to do.
And we're also gonna look into if there's a place for cycle parking. So that people might be able to get off their bikes comfortably and then walk into town.
Yep.
And leave them there. So we haven't investigated that yet, but we will.
Linda, do you want to add a comment? You're the only one here.
No, I'm
Just-
waiting to hear. No, I just wonder, are you gonna make some kind of a presentation to the tree committee so we know about what you're
There's-
deciding to do about the trees?
There's a meeting next week with us and the tree committee.
Oh, okay.
With,
Yeah. Oh, so when we have our meeting, you're meeting?
no,
No.
it's with
It's not
Anula.
on the agenda.
No, Anula's us. She's got Michael
Oh,
and myself. Grace is away.
okay.
I don't know if anybody else from the tree committee or our committee is able to
Should
make
I
it.
be there or I'll
Sure.
find out later?
And
Yeah,
what is,
Neela just put this on, so
You know,
this is a
what-
meeting.
What day is it? The
15th, at
15th.
10 o'clock? 15th at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a chance for us to sit down with Michael. She's asked him to inventory the 200 mature trees and trees that are sensitive to the tree committee, like the newly planted ones.
To identify what they are.
Identify. Because
what time did you say?
10 a.m.
10?
on the 15th.
So could
Yeah,
the,
sorry, you didn't know that.
Well, I think I vaguely saw something, but,
Yeah,
so
so
could the tree committee put forward which parking places they wanted to trade for
No,
trees?
no, they haven't done anything on that.
No, could they?
She's asking,
Oh,
could
could
they?
the tree committee do that?
Well, they should be part of it.
That would be great, right?
No, that's anything to do with trees is tree committee. Yeah. So,
I think what Anula has also asked Michael to do is to specify when there are trees being replaced, what should be the species of trees that should be planted,
so
so that we have a list to present to DOT that this is what the town wants in terms of tree replacement.
Well, Carol's probably gonna come. She's a tree species person,
great,
Carol. So
great,
she's a co-chair.
yeah. Yeah, because we need to, move that conversation forward. Because we all,
Expeditiously.
very quickly, because DOT needs, like with the bridges, where we know big trees are coming down,
Yeah,
like Canada Brook Road.
what should go there.
We need to know what trees, not us. The DOT
town.
needs to know, the town needs to know what trees are going back, big maples and, or small dogwoods. What's gonna hold those banks and create that view, because we're losing some significant trees in the village to rebuild these bridges.
Right.
And frankly, it seems like the same thing is going on by Schoolmaker, where there are streams with smaller trees holding the stream bed walls together. Maybe those are in Michael's count of 200, but
Yeah,
we don't know, but we can't imagine those trees can't come out because they're holding streams together.
Lindsay said.
They're not coming out.
Yeah.
So that's what
Our
we,
design.
so the quicker we can coordinate and understand what the inventory is of the 200 plus trees, and then.
and validate, then you wanna validate
And
what
then
has to come out.
validate and all understand what we're all looking at, because DOT won't tell us. They can't tell us, we've asked, and they don't have a number. And Lindsay hasn't done it yet for the post to post. But from Village Green to post office, I don't know any, we haven't had any.
No, but from post to post, I believe that DOT said there was a count of 12 trees. And Michael had a count of several hundred trees. So I don't know,
I think that was due to the diameter.
but I'm saying
Yeah.
we need
We
a
need a
valid
count, we need a valid
understanding
count.
of what's going on, because there's such a complete dichotomy between the two perceptions.
Sounds like next week is a place to start that conversation.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I'll be in a cave.
I think I heard Lindsay say during her presentation that DOT's tree survey only picked up trees
12
10 inches in diameter, 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
The tree committee has
People
8 inches.
people should know that was
Our tree
not,
law-
that,
Well, our tree law.
that was not
currently
our tree survey, that
covers
was
the
DOT's.
8-inch, yeah.
Was the 8 inch, but we have a new one that we amended the tree law back when Bill was the supervisor and it never got dealt with, so we're gonna ask for that again. We've asked for it in the beginning, but I know she's really busy and stuff, but we're gonna ask for that again, and that covers even smaller trees.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with your project, it just had to do with the amount of really small trees that we want to protect,
Okay,
so, you know.
so we'll see where we go. So
Yeah.
that's, what else came from the community meeting? We need to cover. The feedback was positive, and people who had something to speak against it. Ava, who else made it this? With Stephanie.
Mary.
Pardon?
Back.
No, it wasn't Jackie.
No, Stephanie was married.
Pardon? Who did we, Campton? Stephanie Campton we met?
Yeah, Stephanie Hunter, but we also met with another tree. I mean,
That was
Complete
somebody
Streets-
else.
Complete Streets
That
person.
Stephanie was the
Smith.
person who was very outspoken at the community meeting, and
Yeah.
we met with her,
Oh, Stephanie.
Kaplan,
Kaplan,
Yeah.
yeah, Kaplan.
and we met with her in her neighborhood
Okay,
by Calamar Lane.
yes.
And at the end of the day, we were that, when we finished talking, she wasn't happy with a couple of things, but we weren't that far apart. We laid to rest an awful lot of what her fears were. She thought a bike lane was coming right into town.
Yeah.
That was the big one for her. She wasn't happy about lanes narrowing to traffic, car traffic, but we're talking 6 inches from 11 foot to 10.5 foot. If the engineers agree to that,
And she didn't want to lose
That's-
any parking.
and she thought she was losing 60 parking spots.
Right.
But there's no parking being taken away. What it will be doing is being marked out.
Yeah, and more.
So there will be just the paint lines to say where to park.
She was happy with 25 miles an hour.
She loved that idea,
Yeah.
25 miles an hour.
Oh, we all do.
Yeah.
We all want
She
that.
wasn't a huge fan about the sidewalk on the south side of Tinker Street, but that's happening. DOT's got that in their plans, the town requested it. We support it because we think it's important to
I
have
think,
a sidewalk for those
personally,
homes on the
I
south
think
side.
if the town told DOT they don't want a sidewalk on the south side, that they would be leaving themselves open to litigation.
Yes. I think
Because
so,
they
too.
have the opportunity to do it. It's a accessibility equity issue.
It's an ADA
It's an
issue that I
ADA
think
issue,
would be
and it would be a slam
a
dunk.
disaster for the town.
Yeah, it'd be a slam dunk lawsuit if anybody living, having a business in that area.
And there are people who are blind who live right there.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any issue here, but that has to
But I
happen.
think we need to keep really stressing that very point.
Yeah.
That yes, that sidewalk is really critical to provide accessibility to everybody who has
Everybody
businesses and
lives there,
residences in that area.
So here's the thing, when we talk about any resistance to this, we talked about a little bit in Texas, there's $27 million worth of invested in Tinker Street. And then how much is being invested now in Woodstock in businesses? We've got X millions going into the old garage down on Melville Road to build a hotel. We've got the pub for sale for close to $2 million. We've got Lash's property's been completely redeveloped. How much investment there? We've got Dixon's for close to $2 million being sold. We've got Calamar Lane Hotel down there for how much money?
How's that going?
You've got, did I say the pub? So you've got at least.
You've got the across from Sylvia, the early terrible.
Yeah,
Oh, right,
that whole
yeah,
restaurant.
yeah,
you
yeah,
can-
yeah.
this happened
So you,
with the hotel.
so without Lasher property, because we don't know what the
We
investment.
also
is
have
going into
the cafe coming into the bike shop, which will now be a
That's right.
combination bike shop, vintage clothing, and cafe.
So you're talking about close to 50, there's between 40 and $50 million being invested in the town of Woodstock to have a vibrant future, which is enormous investment. And, you know, we feel very strongly that what we're doing is the right thing to the town, to have this sidewalk extend beyond the shed out to, Commode property. And then,
Yeah.
to the second phase, obviously, we get tap residents to talk about that.
But I think what also needs to be sort of understood and emphasized is that we're very aware of working to preserve both the beauty and the character of the town.
100%.
And we have to do that together, but complete resistance doesn't do it. I mean, it doesn't help. What it does is make it look like we can't come to any kind of resolution to help the community, rather than to come to a resolution that really buoys us all up.
And part of what I remember is when the library moved from the hamlet to Bearsville, there was a huge commotion about, you have to give us a way to get there besides just driving, you gotta give us another way. So now we're working on that. That was part two, in my opinion, of the library moving out to Dixon Avenue, was people were asking for that.
Yep.
And I haven't forgotten that people have asked for that. So we are trying to do that. So I think it's a
So I mean, yeah, I think this project is really, absolutely essential for them.
The extension of UCAT out to the library is fantastic,
Also,
but it's limited.
But it's very limited.
It will be the runs that they make to Woodstock being extended out to the library.
But it's still greenhouse gas that if people were to walk it,
No, it's gonna be electric.
it'll be like, oh, that's cool.
That's why every pack's gonna be electric.
But the other thing that I would like to say about the character of the town, that the tree committee, I think, has an opportunity is we, the whole town of Woodstock, with the tree committee's help, can lay out what you want that corridor to look like. Because there are gonna be trees planted, if trees come out, there is a commitment to plant trees, and the tree committee can lay out, well, these are the kinds of trees, this is where we like it. We can lay out what that corridor can look like to really beautify it and make it better than it is today. And I think we should be thinking about 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, not just, oh, we took out a tree today, but I think we can really beautify it into the future. And I think the tree committee can be great at giving us a vision of how to beautify it as we, as we shake things up. Let's then make them right, because it's not done till we've made it right, and the tree committee can help give us a vision.
Well, that's what we wanted to do in the very beginning, but we didn't know about all of this stuff until kind of when it was already semi-planned. And I don't know whose fault it is, but my feeling is this should have been worked on with the tree committee and the environmental commission from the get-go. It wasn't. We're kind of coming into this at the sort of the tail end, which makes it hard. People are resentful. I'm not, but other people are. So if they're gonna be included, if you're gonna include the tree committee, you should have felt that way before your public presentation. But now you're including us, and that's great. Better late than never, but hopefully this won't happen again with any other, projects that Woodstock is gonna have. Because the committees need to work together and solve these problems together, not individually, and then, it's like in school, shared decision making. The upper people make the decision and they share it with you. That's not shared decision making. That should be shared.
Go ahead.
I think one of the perceptions is that we had all these things set in stone and that we have all the answers. And the thing is, New York State DOT has been very hesitant to give us ideas. So at first we were like, this is a great idea. They didn't get back to us. It just seems like we've been chasing them and we still don't have a real clear picture of what they want to do.
Yeah.
And I think the perception was, oh, we're holding something that and not letting people know. It's like we didn't know.
We were in the analogous position that you feel like you are in with as the tree committee. Because it is a DOT project that was coming to Woodstock.
No matter
And
what.
we found out about it belatedly, and we were like, wow, this is a generational project that's going to be happening. So we've been scrambling. Everybody on this committee.
And,
has
and
really
nothing
done
is
their best.
final. I mean, the thing about it, I know people would have liked to have gotten involved earlier, but nothing is final. There is nothing, well, some of what the DOT is gonna do from Rock City Road out to the Woodstock Library, they know what their plan is. They're gonna be ADA compliant. But that part, but the post to post, from the Woodstock Post Office out to Bearsville, that is not locked in. The detail of that's not locked in at all. And people are upset that they weren't involved sooner, and I understand that. But in any time you're working out a plan, you do want to get it to have a little stability to it before you show it, rather than, hey, it's all over the floor, we have no idea what we're doing, let's bring you all in. You know, we can all argue how soon should we be brought in, but you're certainly brought in before it's final.
And wasn't it originally just the sidewalks that were gonna get fixed? Wasn't that the original thing?
No, the DOT project was, because of a flood situation, if I forget which storm it was, because of a flood situation, 4 bridges needed to be redone. As long as they were gonna do as long as they're gonna do 4 bridges, they're gonna repave the road. As long as they're gonna do that, they're gonna fix the sidewalks.
Right.
So
it mushroomed into
it began with a flood remediation plan.
Right.
That was gonna include 4 bridges, and it's like, well, we're just gonna fix this stretch of road.
It was 7 million, that is now 30, so.
And if I might, every one of those bridges, and you probably know this firsthand, every one of them is a pinch point. All those bridges contribute to why we don't have functional, accessible sidewalks.
Good point.
So this was really an opportunity when Jackie and, is it Diane? Dolce? You know, when these folks are very poignantly saying they're being forgot about, the accessible, you know, the disabled community, once again, their voices are not being heard.
Right.
And I know that this committee has been doing everything we could to get out and on the street with those folks and document the condition through their eyes, through their wheelchairs, through their experiences of saying, do you see what happens right there with that curb cut? That may look like a curb cut, but it's inaccessible for me. So I can't go from here to that store. And all of these things have been captured, a lot of them through the walk-off. And that's all informed what we've taken back to DOT. And, you know, I commuted it on my bike today. I'll be riding home, you know, right around sunset to dusk, got lights. I'll be riding unprotected. To focus, I live a mile up Cooper Lake Road. So that's a trip that I make probably 200 times a year. Every time unprotected.
Terrifying.
You know, when people online and in the meeting said, people on their bikes can go to the rail trail. Send them to the rail trail. That's the place they can ride their bikes. There's kind of a basic misunderstanding. I mean, I have to smile because the Woodstock Land Conservancy fought very hard and advocated very hard for that rail trail. And one of the arguments we heard consistently from opponents was it's going to be a tree tunnel in the woods. No one's going to go there. We had 200,000 visits the first year. 70% of those visits are people from Ulster County and the nearby communities. This facility is a public health facility. If it's built like Henry Du Bois in New Paltz, these facilities, they become places for people to recreate. They use them to commute to work. They go to do their shopping. They socialize with their friends. They take walks. And having them convenient to where they live and where they work is the key to having more people using them for more reasons more of the time. Straight up, I mean, that's the data, and they will help address climate change. They're going to lower our greenhouse gas emissions.
And the use, the people who have chosen from Bearsville are uniformly thrilled at the possibility of not being terrified going along too fast.
Yeah, I feel like that's more walking though than riding bikes. It's more
No,
the
there
people
are
that
people who
walk.
work in the stores in town who would love to be able to ride their bikes.
Do you
I
know Ben
can't do
Fleischer?
it because in the dogs, it's too scary.
Ben wrote on one of the posts on Facebook, this to him is just would be such a boon. Because he wasn't allowed to ride his bike into town as a kid because his mom thought it was too dangerous. And he would love to be able to do that with his kids. My wife is a cyclist. She only rides on the rail trails in places she feels safe. She would love for us to be able to ride into town, go to a restaurant and ride home.
No, I understand, but you know, you also have to realize and I know you've heard me say this a million times, and I'm not just, making this up, there's a lot of older people that don't wanna lose parking, they don't ride bikes, they don't.
They're not gonna,
And they're the ones on social media that are having a hissy fit over it
Yeah,
because.
because they've read that
it's
we're,
important.
they've read that we're losing 60 parking spots.
Well, yeah,
And 200 plus trees.
We don't know where
Well,
that, we don't know where
there's-
that came from.
You guys took the walk with Carol, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so how many did you guys?
We didn't even talk about parking, because there is no
No, but I mean,
conversation as far as losing park, we're not losing
Right.
parking.
No, but you need trees,
but
We,
yeah,
we wanted to lose
like
parking,
18 trees.
we wanted to lose parking, we thought it'd be great for the village, not to have parking between town and Brook Road and the village. But the town voted no, so we've backed
We
off from
know
that.
that, I mean, we know our desire.
And so that's it. I just want to go back on one little thing is that the tree committee was in the conversation with us at the beginning, back in September. We had that joint meeting at the
Yeah.
community center.
oh,
And I know there was something inappropriate said by myself, and I wrote an apology for that. It wasn't yelling and screaming, and I wrote an apology so we could move forward. But then the tree committee took it in a different direction, and they had the chance to work with us, we had the chance to work with them, so it's not just Complete Streets kept it.
Yeah.
Our cards to our chest. The tree committee set out their stall the way they felt best to approach this project through social media, local engagement. So it's not like they were just being invited to the conversation now in May. They were invited in September. We worked so hard to
No, they were
include
invited
them.
in June.
Really,
It was
Michael
earlier
at
than
the
September.
No, well, June, they weren't invited to the first meeting.
I know, but Michael was at the Complete Streets meeting.
Yeah, oh, that's, but I'm talking about the meetings in the supervisor's office.
But we had no control over
Right, but we asked for that first meeting just to be Complete Streets because we wanted to get all of the ADA compliance, all of the safety things out. And then we thought, okay, second meeting, third meeting, let's get the trees in, that was the plan. But the trees didn't get invited to those meetings in September and December. And we tried to make it happen together, the tree committee and Complete Streets in September. We didn't get along, but then we each went about our business.
well, I was under the impression we weren't invited to the meeting with the DOT.
You
We
weren't,
had to stay
but
out,
that
and
wasn't
then you met
complete,
with us at the community center.
correct,
afterward.
but that wasn't us, that was a supervisor, that was a
Right,
supervisor.
well,
We didn't.
But we didn't have control of it, that
right,
wasn't the.
so that
Complete
didn't
Streets.
help this whole project, that didn't help
Right,
people
but
working
now,
together. is what I'm
luckily
saying.
now, we've gotten beyond that, so it's in the middle of them having a community meeting right away. As soon as she could feel comfortable understanding the project, we had the community meeting, and, it's time to move forward. But I wouldn't say that it was just Complete Streets now opening it up, we don't have control.
it. Yeah.
And luckily, we have a supervisor now who's, so we can.
Jeff, are you admitting Hillary? I was gonna try to get on Zoom and admit Hillary.
Mary.
Oh, Mary's in.
Yeah. Hillary in the waiting room, and
Right,
Hillary who?
admit.
well.
Hillary.
right there. Oh, you're admitting, perfect, thank you.
Yeah, it's Hillary.
I don't know who Hillary is,
We don't
but,
know who Hillary is.
Hillary was in the waiting room.
So we're gonna say, Hillary, if you have something, you could put it in the chat, if there's something you wanted to ask.
Yeah, and did
And
Mary,
maybe let
did
us know
Mary
your
know
last
also
name.
that we can't hear anybody on the
Oh.
TV? So,
It looks like Aqua Stein is trying to get in too. She's one of our members. She's an older woman.
Oh, good,
Aqua.
let's see.
Try
She
that
said,
blue
please,
arrow up there.
please connect me with the Zoom.
Yeah, but the thing is, there was a
But they
message,
can't speak, yes.
there was a message that came up saying who to admit.
There's no one in the
So I
waiting
don't know whether
room,
she
yeah.
clicked on the link or not, because there was a message to admit the other.
Okay. You ready for Hillary, Jeff?
No,
Oh.
Now, I want to look back just a moment.
sorry.
Can we take advantage of you having your computer?
I
And ask her if
could.
she has a question?
Going on to my Zoom thingy here.
If she has a question, she can, otherwise she'll just have to listen.
I sent the agenda.
And Andy,
Along,
But it
yes,
was-
it was
it was
along with the
last-
Zoom link for the meeting that was a disaster.
We didn't resend it out, that's, yeah.
okay,
You want me
but,
to send it to you right now?
Linda, thank you for being here and
you know.
talking with us. It's so helpful.
She's saying no questions, just interested.
Okay,
She's
great.
apologizing for being late.
No worries.
That's in your
Thank
chat.
you.
Here's your chat.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff.
Kevin, can you send me that agenda again? It didn't work.
Yes.
Okay, what we want to talk about a little bit is the follow-up to the community meeting. And we've discussed the possibility of doing focus groups, focused on different topics, such as trees, parking, okay, topics of interest to people. So those groups will be small groups, everybody will get a chance to talk, but we will follow the rules of focus group meetings. So they will have a structure. And
Did you come up with dates for a couple?
we have starting dates, yeah.
If you can't, I'll just put it on there.
They will be at the starting towards the end of April when I return to
Okay,
town.
so these are other meetings you're talking about, not the ones that you're having.
We talked about just focus
No.
groups.
There's focus groups for the whole community. And the focus groups will be centered on particular subject matters,
Cycle, walking, parking.
whatever.
Trees.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. And we will also ask people, I mean, we'll come up with a list of meetings that we hope to have, but we will also ask people if there are particular topics of interest that they think would be important for us to address in those meetings. So we will put out a list of proposed meetings at, towards the end of the month, and then start, doing them, you know, maybe one of each.
And they'll be in person.
those will be,
In
have to be
person.
in person.
Yeah, absolutely in person.
Yeah. And they'll either be here or when they ask, we can use the room in the library.
Okay.
One or the other.
Library would be good, 'cause
New library,
Yeah.
new library.
Your library.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, nice culinary garden behind it.
yeah.
Yes.
And you know what, Howard, it's like when you guys met with the senior, aging in place people,
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
all those guys wanted to have better sidewalks and to have.
absolutely.
They
Yeah.
weren't parking enthusiasts at that
No.
meeting, they were walking
Walking
enthusiasts,
Yeah.
and they were older people.
Yeah.
I mean, that supports
Yeah.
complete streets and not that older people want.
Well, the rec committee, the members of the rec committee said, oh, we won't walk, when they discussed it and had a presentation made about this shared path. The people on the rec committee were like, no, we want people in Woodstock to walk.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
So we're gonna come up with dates for the focus.
yeah, we're gonna have to move on now,
Yeah.
because, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, we wanna talk first about the grant status.
Mhm.
We do not know yet what the status is of the TAP grant.
For which project?
That's for the shared
That's
path.
for the champagne out of Bears.
That might be a couple of months.
That might be a couple of months.
Yeah.
Okay. We also have in process the Woo grant, which is from who?
Woodstock to Hurley.
Woodstock to Hurley,
Trail,
okay?
the Woohoo Trail.
Woo-hoo. So anyway, we have sent out what are called RFPs for that project to several engineering firms, who will get back to us, we hope by the end of the month. And then we will be able to start that project. That project is to find, the feasibility of a walking, biking path from the village of Woodstock to the Ashokan Rail Trail, going through West Hurley and the Hannaford Plaza. So it's gonna cover all of those things. And to avoid the horror of trying to go along 375, which you've been experiencing since your childhood, Jeff.
Yes,
Yes.
I love it, we love that road,
So,
not for biking.
So where that trail, the feasibility study is to find where that trail would go. And,
Avoid 375.
yeah, I mean, they may come back and tell us it's on 375, but we're not expecting that because of how narrow the road is. But if the engineers come back and say it's that, we'll look at it.
and there might be some portions of it that will be
Yeah.
375 and others that are not. We just don't know. I mean, that's why we're hiring engineers.
You can kind of break 375 into
Sections.
3 sections.
Yeah.
That are kind of, each has
Their own
So we'll see
challenges.
what they say
Yeah.
about 375, but the idea is that people from Woodstock can safely get to Hannaford Plaza. They may not have to go from the village green, it might be people who live along the way, just want to get to Hannaford safely, or get into Woodstock safely. They may just use a section of the trail. And then after Hannaford, it's connected to Basin Road to near Stewart's. And then
Well,
when
we
that-
don't know
we
exactly
know,
where the
well,
cross will be either.
That's the thought.
That's the
That's the thought, that it'll get close to Stewart so people can then safely cross. There's a new intersection being constructed there at some point.
Maybe.
Well, what we now know that the Basin Road trestle, the
Yeah,
railroad trestle that's part of the Ulster
Yeah.
Delaware corridor is being replaced,
right.
going to be replaced by New York City DEP. And it's going to be replaced with an active transportation pedestrian bike bridge. And we hope that
Yeah.
there may be direct access provided there for pedestrians and people on bikes.
Right.
And we
Yeah,
believe
fast.
that because it's being done, or it's been kind of triggered by the Century Program, the $1
Correct.
billion
Yeah.
refurbishing of all the dams and dikes and weirs at the show camp, that they are going to reconfigure the 28 Basin Road, Xena Road intersection.
Yeah.
And that might be an opportunity to get in safer passage for people on bikes especially.
Because once we get people there, we gotta get people safely from the village green down to 375 somehow, and we've got to get people across 28 safely to the other way.
There is another gate,
So,
there's
Yeah,
another
there's
gate
a little bit closer.
very near the
Closer to
375
yeah.
intersection,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which would be great for that neighborhood.
Yeah.
That would be, unfortunately, they don't have a sidewalk
Right.
on the north side of
North
that
side,
street. These are the things, this
So this
is
is
why
what the
these
engineers
projects
have
are
to
so
look at.
important.
Yeah. So we're thrilled we're gonna get a full study done. Let's see how we can.
There's a
make
few
that
gates there, one just at the top of the hill, there's one
Yeah.
just to the west of 375.
It will also eventually really be a boom to business in Woodstock, because people on the rail trail will be able to get into Woodstock on their bikes.
And people from Hurley,
And
West
people from
Hurley,
Hurley.
West Hurley, they can ride their bikes into Woodstock and enjoy
So
it.
you wouldn't be going down 375, you'd be going down some other.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Could be a
Behind
combination,
people's
could be
houses.
some combination of 375, minor town roads, could be even a trail, could even be, you
There
know,
were some trails in there that could be used.
This is a future project?
Yeah,
The future?
this
Who paid for
this is the grant that
Oh,
The grant is to find out what's a feasible route
okay. Oh, I see.
and what it would cost.
and what it would cost, yeah.
And then, because trail connectivity is so important. And this one between the two towns of Hurley and Woodstock it's everything that, like the Greenway, Hudson Valley Greenway grant that gave us the grant is looking for. It's connecting communities by trail.
And it's part of the grant that the traffic engineers will be implementing includes having community meetings to get input from people about what it is that they
That's
want
good.
and what's.
There you go.
Another guy should have done this.
We're not opposed to community input. We had no
It's not us to
no
us.
control over the DOT. This one, we have some control.
Yeah. Okay.
anything about the other grant?
Well, that's next.
Okay.
Okay,
What's that?
the bike pedestrian message.
Okay,
Okay, the next grant that we also got, was the bike pedestrian master plan
For the town of
for
Woodstock.
the town of Woodstock. This does not include Raleigh, this is just Woodstock alone. Okay, and the bike pedestrian master plan is actually to look at, how to make all the roads and streets in Woodstock safer. With a master plan. That might include such things as changing, the circulation within the town. So that, it would be safe for pedestrians and cyclists. So that's just we just got that grant and it's just in its infancy. We have to work with the WU grant, we have managed to raise matching funds that would have come to the town, but they don't have to. We have the bucks now to do all of that. And now we're in the process of looking at how we can raise matching funds for the bike pedestrian.
So this would be changing some of the roads to maybe one-way streets?
Maybe, we don't know.
In the village.
Oh, yeah.
I think it would also, if I might, I think it could also help starting to create our kind of rational priority system for speed limit reduction requests.
Okay, exactly.
Where would be the next place to
Along the
extend
street.
sidewalks?
Yeah.
You know, to have a really functional sidewalk system that meets the biggest need for the most people.
For example, along Cannery Brook, you know.
For example.
Just, we don't know that that's gonna be part of it, but it might be.
But on social media, one of the criticisms of the Tinker Street project that I saw on social media was, why are you focused there? You should be focused on Tannery Brook. And
Yeah.
this is why it's so difficult, because number one, the committee has been really focused on Tannery Brook for quite some time. Number two, the Tinker Street project is a DOT project, it's happened.
Anyway,
So we have to take it
Tannery
out.
Brook is a
And
county,
Tannery Brook is a
Tannery Brook is
county.
a county road, so that's working with the county and making sure it works for DOT, but it's working with the county, which is a whole different cat.
We've gone to county several times about Tanner Brook Road and Rock City Road.
Howard uncovered a sidewalk
yeah,
on Tannery Brook.
Yeah, a little bit of a sidewalk down
Yeah.
the side, we'd like to see
Yeah, I
that.
saw the pictures of that, yeah.
Yeah, but the master plan also could talk to the people who live out in Mount Trento, the far western end of Woodstock, also the same for Xena. You know, people living in Xena are freaked out about traffic in their area, particularly with the threat of the Xena development adding to that. So the master plan is for the entire
look
town,
at the whole thing.
you know, and we'd like to hear from anybody who finds, you know, we hear from people all over town who are scared to walk past their mailbox. And we'd love to change that culture. We have
Right.
thousands
But a lot
of
of those
people.
people that are afraid of that, they're also afraid of riding bikes.
Fair
and
advice.
stuff too. So even with a path, they're afraid. Your engineer, well, I thought it was interesting that she said that she wouldn't want her kids, even if there was a path and everything, she wouldn't let them ride out there because a car could just,
Yeah.
could still go over.
That's why you need that buffer. That's
You know,
why.
people are doing this and I'm constantly like, whoa, this is.
That's why you need a buffer.
Yeah.
But
So
we-
she wouldn't want her kids riding where there wasn't a buffer, but she's fine with them riding if there is a buffer and a proper path.
But what would be the buffer out here then? There's no, like in Kingston, the cars are the buffer, kind of the buffer.
She laid it out in the
She laid it
presentation,
out.
there's
If
a
you
couple
look
of
at
different
it.
options.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One is a 5-foot buffer.
A 5-foot buffer,
What is
which
the
would
railing?
also serve as a place for snow removal.
The other is a
So-
railing. You might have a section with railing and no 5-foot buffer if you're saving some trees.
Oh.
So you might forego your 5-foot buffer for a property, 1 or 2 properties.
Yeah.
So you use that 5 feet, but then you put a short
Rail.
railing in that section.
What do you put a railing in there?
Yeah, well, the railings are now, if you go down Tinker Street, there's railing down long sections at the side of the road.
Oh, yeah, but I'm talking about, are you gonna have a buffer between the bike and hike path? Would there be, like in Kingston, they have all the cars.
No, we won't have the cars.
No,
in the
no,
back.
right. No, I know
We'll
that.
have either
But I'm saying
space-
That's their buffer.
No,
What's
our
gonna be
buffer is
our-
either gonna be 5 foot of space or a railing. If we can't have the 5 feet, then we'll have a railing. So we can't run a railing next to a shared path for a mile.
But the space is like a median, it's
As
like a.
as I understand it, there's either a certain horizontal distance, or you use something like a railing, or you use a grade separation like a curb.
Yeah, I was gonna say the trail will, where it doesn't have that, it will have a curve.
But anyway, this is
Meeting
like,
over.
like Lori, I went with Lori to Ulster County
Very
Traffic Safety
separation.
to speak out about the speed on Glasgow Turnpike.
3 feet.
We want to get the section
The
to
other
the east
side.
of Rock City Road
Yeah.
to match the speed limit on the
Yeah.
west where you live, Linda. That's only right, we want that to happen, but we can't go with piecemeal resolutions.
Right.
The people on, what's the road off of Xena Road?
Oh.
Highways Church.
No.
Off
John,
of Xena
John
Road.
Joy?
The ones that come, it's the
Chestnut
street that
Hill?
comes in.
Vandale.
No, Xena Road
Zero Road out towards
towards 28.
28.
The cars pulling out on that.
Sherman?
Sherman,
Sherman,
thank
yes.
you. The people of Sherman Road, all
Maybe some
went,
landmarks.
thank you, all went to talk. And we want to have something done where they have safety pulling out of Sherman Road on Xena Road. But we've got to bring all these things together, that's what the master plan is for. So it's not just for those one thing, you know, the people on 212 are asking for no parking around Big D. All these things should be part of the master plan, not just details. So that's what the master plan is about. As well as protecting pedestrians and cyclists, where the sidewalks make sense, where to reduce speed limit, all of those things. Yeah. And that's for the whole town.
Yeah.
That's
Maybe you
awesome.
guys, maybe you can have another meeting like we did when they did the comprehensive plan, where everybody broke out into groups and
Yeah.
they did their wish list, and
We would-
everybody wrote down stuff.
That's where we came from.
That's a great
I
idea.
think that's a very good idea to have for this.
See, that's where people feel like they're engaged in it, you know, like I was on the
That's a
library
great
board,
idea.
believe me, we have to listen, ad nauseum to stuff over and over, but people felt heard because we gave them so many opportunities to hear, it's,
Linda,
and it takes forever, I know.
No, it's not that it takes forever. The DOT was supposed to have another meeting,
Yeah.
another public meeting. They have not had one. I mean, they're required by law. to
Because it
have
was
that.
years ago, right? We had a
Years
meeting.
ago, we were supposed to have another meeting, and they just didn't have it.
And Bill McKenna.
And they still didn't have a meeting, because last week's meeting
Right. Well,
was,
it's not, they
they
refused
just,
it.
they
Yeah.
just came to
Attend.
attend, they didn't come to present. DOT didn't get up and speak last week.
So they have not shown, we have gotten these plans from them, they haven't shown them to the public yet.
Then people need to know that.
Well, I think what's gonna happen now is, Anula's gonna get her arms around it.
Right.
She's gonna state what the town wants with the town, she's gonna reach out for, town board
Right.
consent on all of that. Put that in, and then it's gonna be for DOT then to come back and say, we hear what you want, this is what we're gonna do.
This is what you.
And we hope it includes everything we're
Everything
asking
that we
for,
want, right.
everything the town's asking for, and everything the tree committee wants,
Right.
and everything people want. But DOT ultimately has to come back, and I guess they're gonna make a presentation, and say, this is what we're doing.
We hope,
And we just hope they like it, with all the work and effort that's gone into it,
not only what we're doing, but when we're doing it, which is also,
which is
the
coming up this next
timetable
year.
is, yeah.
Well, what if they say that they wanna do, just scale it back a little, and just do the hike path and the share the road path?
Shared
Yeah, shared
use
yeah,
path or
Share
site.
use of the-
Well, that all depends on the tap grant anyway.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so without the tap grant, there's no discussion.
No, that's
That's
not
not
true,
true.
that is not true.
Why?
They've
Because there
agreed,
are other ways to get that money.
they've,
And
they've
DOT
agreed to
But
design,
I'm thinking.
They
I would-
have
you
designed
have to worry about
They've
the
made it
trees.
in.
they've agreed to design it.
You'd
Yeah.
still be able to ride a
The
bike.
construction,
over
the
there.
funding.
The construction is not
And
funded.
then the people
Right.
would have.
So
When
That's
that
not-
happens,
And it's not safe.
Okay.
Well,
It's just not
what's
safe
really,
enough.
what's really safe today? I don't know.
No, but they have been,
Way
we
better
have-
by that stuff.
no, it was presented, the share the road plan was presented.
Well, please
to
don't call it
Brian.
share the road.
No, I'm.
That's what, that's,
She's talking about.
She's just explaining. to
I'm
you.
just explaining something. Tim.
okay. Just
Okay.
the whole thing with
Just-
Michael Beach, I'm
Just
just like,
calm down.
Well, he's gonna see this video, obviously,
Calm
so.
down. Brian Slack, who is the principal transportation designer for Ulster County, clearly stated an email that Share the Road is not a safe program, that it does not prevent any kind of accident. So we are not advocating for any program that is not a safe program for everybody involved. And it is not a safe program. So as far as we're concerned, that's really off the table, okay?
Only because we're 100%.
And e-bikes have to ride on the road anyway, right? They can't ride on the highway.
That's a whole other issue,
That's a whole
and
other-
I would
yeah.
encourage us to not open up
Yeah,
that
but I've been seeing a
Pandora's
lot of,
box.
yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people riding those things.
Yes, they
Yeah.
are
And they
changing.
will.
They have to be below 24.
We should not open up that
Yeah, that's all.
Pandora's
Okay.
box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on because we leave town.
Yeah.
Getting out of town.
Social media.
Next item is social media activity.
Yes.
We have a wonderful member of the Complete Streets Committee who has done yeoman's work on a social media presence because nobody else on the committee.
Under a lot of pressure.
Under
Nothing
a lot of
else on the
pressure.
committee had the
With a lot
ability.
of grace.
Yes, nobody else will do
Loose.
it. And, we have been getting a lot of flack for our activities. And we're trying, with Eva's help, to get the record straight, to really talk about what it is that we've been doing and what it is that we care about and what it is that we're planning on doing in the future. And we hope that the social media activity under her guidance will become more civil because it's not been fun.
That's social media,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Well,
So
what I find-
that's our effort. Want to say something?
Yes, I want to say something small. I find that there's still a lot of misinformation out there. And so I kind of, one of the things I've been trying to do more, as I know more about all the different programs, is just talk to people in the comments. Because at first, if I would just put my nose out in the comments, everybody would just jump on me. It was like overwhelming. But now I feel like things are changing. And so that's
You're
my
giving the
goal.
right information out. I mean, I kind of do that too with things that I post or people ask me.
Yeah.
The only thing I screwed up on was the dog park thing. But the thing is, with social media, you've got to realize it's more negative than positive. If you're disseminating information so people can see what's going on, and you're explaining to people that don't really understand, that's what's good about social media.
And
You
I
get
think
the
that-
word out, and you can try to fix the misinformation.
And I feel like there's been like a little shift. People are more receptive to things, and I'm definitely trying to talk more in the comments rather than just like on our posts. But,
And make the whole committee more visible. to
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
at the same time, to bring that message out. Share that message.
like Linda said, like, I don't wanna, you guys do so much work, I don't wanna hide your light under a bushel. You know,
Uh-huh.
I think that these guys do way more work than ever gets out there.
Mm.
I would be posting every day if it were up to me,
You
but Howard
can.
says,
No, you can.
you're wrong."
Ray said no, I said you can.
But you do a lot of things.
Do it while
that
she's
we
in
can-
France.
I can still get on the internet.
And Kevin is also, you're all over it too. You're always answering and promoting things in the chats for us to learn more about the community. I think that's really helpful.
Anything I can do to try to get more information out there, because when I look at this discussion that's happening in the community, and at the community meeting, and in the social media, I see the same conversation that was happening in Kingston, some years ago, that was happening in New Paltz. I see heartbreaking, honestly heartbreaking things that I see people say, and I realize that they don't know how many people have been killed on our state roads that are our main streets in the last, just in the last 5 years, including Starley Swan Young, right there, right on the north side of Saugerties. A brilliant young life snuffed out, and then they're saying, "Oh, we don't need that here. Nobody rides a bike here. It's all for tourists," and it's painful. As somebody who's out there, and I'm out there every day. And there are so many people that are riding bicycles in this community that are invisible. I mean, I'm visible because I wear the, overload bikes, day glow technicolor gear, but most of them are not. Because they're going to shop, or they're going to their job, and that's the only way they have to do it. And I thought that's what Woodstock was about. This is part of what we talk about affordability, and it's like housing, but there's a transportation component of affordability. Transportation cost burden is right there with health insurance. It's right below housing. It's like housing, health insurance, and healthcare and transportation costs.
Yeah.
And it's like this is a win-win-win. We just have to work together. We can lower emissions, we can make people healthier. We can make our community a happier place because people are happy when they can walk and ride their bikes to where they're going. When disabled people can get in their wheelchairs or their motorized scooters, it makes for a better community.
All kinds of aerobic activities and antidepressant. Yeah, first of all, makes people feel better. Yeah.
Until the rail trail was built here, I biked some down at Mohawk, but I biked on the Vineyard every summer because they had trails.
Cape Cod Rail Trail.
I was on the Cape Cod Rail Trail also. These are safe areas away from cars.
Yep.
And yes, I know some people pointing at Kevin like, he's going to be using this trail. Well, I think Kevin's probably going to be on the main road, ripping at 30 miles an hour.
I got to tell you,
but
going home tonight,
you're going
to be on that side.
Well, yeah.
Guaranteed. Yeah.
But the way I used to ride through 75, oh my God, as soon as I got to the school, I would just pump until I got home. And I wanted to get to my road exhausted because I didn't want to be on that road any extra second.
If we want to have kids in this community and we want young people to move here and raise their families here and start businesses here, a lot of those people are coming from New York City. Guess what they have in New York City?
Bike paths.
Bike paths, they've got sidewalks.
I rode my bike. I rode a 10-speed bike through the woods to Woodstock Elementary because I didn't want to go on the road. But 10 speed in the woods. It wasn't really easy. Once you got the Ratterman, it was a piece of cake.
The biking community that I'm part of in Woodstock, they're road cyclists, they're sporty cyclists, as the Dutch would say. The age has gone from like my age group, my cohort, and now it's about age 50. These are all new people that have moved to the community. They're professionals who've moved up here in part because of the cycling, and they love this area.
I mean, it was interesting when people said there were no cyclists in Woodstock because it's so old. How many geezers on bikes there were at the meeting.
Yeah, the cyclist in his 80s.
Yeah.
Right here.
Erwin Rosenthal.
And he lives on King
Lives
Street.
right here, and he still loves to get on his bike and he'll have nothing more.
Was that Erwin?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I would love
Good
for
for
Erwin
him.
to be able to.
I would love for him to be able to ride safely.
We gave
And be able to ride in the Chopin Rail Trail.
Erwin's one of the reasons we have the Chopin Rail Trail.
Okay, I'm still moving on here.
Okay.
The next item on the agenda, but I want to thank Eva for all the magnificent work that she has done and continues to do. It's really astonishing. Earth Day. So the way in which Complete Streets is participating in Earth Day is there is a trail walk out of the trail that we have helped to build. And Dave Holden will be leading it. Is it noon or
I think around noon.
around noon?
Yeah.
On
On the first
on
Sunday, the
yeah.
18th.
So everyone is welcome to come and join us.
So we'll be meeting at Yerry Hill Road, just down from the new library, by Rick Wolf's Field.
Which day is it, Friday?
It's the first Saturday. It's WLC is on the who's making a presentation.
After the town cleanup,
We are.
Yes. Maybe,
April
I
19th.
know we're doing it. I just.
Yeah, I've got the schedule because I'm putting it on the calendar.
yeah, April.
April 19th, Sunday, Discover Secret Woodstock Trails with Ranger Dave Holden.
That's the
Starts at
19th.
10 a.m. The 19th, April 19th, Sunday, Rick Foltz Field at Dixon Avenue, is where that is.
So we have a new trail that goes from Yerry Hill Road. Yeah, you can't go. Yerry Hill Road, along the side of Rick Foltz Field, there's a trail now. It just needs to be completed, but it'll be
completed.
walkable, but it's not ADA compliant, but it's a trail. It's a wooded trail. It'll bring you along to the dog park, and then we'll take you past the dog park to the eastern far end of the town property. And then it has a little keyhole loop at the top, goes by the Sawkill, and then it'll come back to Yellow Hill Road, and then we'll walk back to the library. And WLC is then making a presentation on water. So it's kind of nice that the trail will take us down by the stream, by the Sawkill, and then back for that presentation.
Oh, that's a pretty long walk, right?
It's completely
It's
level.
level, but there's routes
Yeah.
to navigate and things like that.
I love to do it, I just don't want to take a chance to get stuck out there if I can't.
Well, if you start at the dog park,
Yeah.
it's pretty flat from
Yeah.
that section. So you'll see.
Yeah.
So that's that's the 19th at 10 o'clock.
Okay,
Yes, the 19th, 10 o'clock.
April.
April 19th.
April.
Are we at new business?
Yes, right, new
Okay,
business.
Okay. A colleague of mine, Katie Scott Childress, who used to be on board of the Kingston Land Trust, is a librarian, and I believe she's now the librarian at the Rosendale Library. She reached out to me. I've been a little remiss getting back to her to gauge our interest in participating with, I assume, Rosendale Library and others to promote a countywide library bike lending program.
Oh, I
Oh,
love
that's
that.
So the idea in bike lending programs is that you check out a bike just like you check out a book, because that's what they do. And you have some bikes and people could use them to ride into town, and you have someplace in town, I would think,
Where they can park them.
where they can park them. And so
I would like
I'm
to
bringing that to the committee.
Yes.
And I need to, just whatever you want me to do, I will get back to Katie. She's fantastic.
Lizzie Bannon. I would love to.
I'm wondering if Liz Lasher might be a location.
Well,
where-
because
I think so.
when we had mentioned it to Lizzie when she showed us what she was planning for the new property, we talked about bicycle parking.
Oh, yeah,
Because
parking,
it's that
where there used
library
to be parking
location.
for the library.
So she would be a great person to kind of start having that conversation with, it to
Yeah.
include.
So what would you have me respond to Katie?
Yeah, we definitely.
Count us in,
Yeah.
and we just have to see what
Interesting.
it entails,
Okay,
pursue the conversation.
okay,
Totally.
cool. Because I think, I'm pretty sure the county executive is going to think this is a really cool
Good idea, yeah.
And we have perfect reason to be involved with the library roof,
Yes.
so we have every reason to want to involve. That's great.
And there's some good models up in Vermont for this. They've
Oh,
done very
great.
successful in Vermont.
And with libraries doing it?
With libraries.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
That's wonderful, yeah. Well, they
Well,
lent out fishing gear, so next step is bikes.
So I have a quick question. When you guys are on your social media, what page are you on when you're posting
She's
answers?
just telling me this.
Actually, I don't understand.
Well, because if you're doing social media, you're on a Facebook page, place.
Well, the Woodstock Complete Streets Facebook page.
Okay, you're on.
And then I'll
That's-
share it from there to the Woodstock
I
Bulletin
can see
board.
it.
So,
And then I'll also post it to
Um,
Instagram.
Don't let.
can we also trail some?
More glasses.
The trail signs, we have not, because we don't have an estimate for them.
She was telling me just now that I
Put
went
that
on
in there.
Instagram to find the streets page, and she said, tell her. So
Well, it's
you're
just
right.
the way Instagram is set up, it's like to post an article, like, you wanna post an article about Kingston. It's really hard to do, you have to post it in the stories, and then save it in the highlights, it doesn't go on the feed, so.
Did you
I
give us
don't
that?
really do that many articles.
Yeah, okay.
Can we
It
just,
turns out Facebook.
can we just answer a couple of questions on the
On the
screen?
screen, yeah.
From the chat from Mary. Hey Mary, hopefully you can hear us, we're looking at the chat. If you can supply us with
An
an
invoice,
invoice for the trail signs. We can see what that is and try and get those approved for us to order.
Okay.
And Mary's added a comment about Tannery Brook Road.
wait, the invoice should be by tomorrow because Howard is making a presentation to the town board on signage tomorrow. So if we could incorporate.
Yeah,
it
she
by
said,
then.
Mary said, okay.
Okay,
If we can get it tomorrow, that would be awesome. Mary spoke to Dennis Doyle about the Tannery Brook. And as part of the traffic study,
No,
the
and
county-
he advised
he advised.
the traffic study.
well, we're gonna do a traffic study, we have our master plan.
it's part of the
That would be-
pedestrian master plan.
And Tannery Brook Road is on our agenda.
Okay.
So if we wanted to make Tannery Brook Road one way, and let's say going around Pine Grove, we got all one way, could we have sidewalk in that one side and then just one lane of traffic?
That's our thought.
That's our thought. Whether that passes muster with engineers, we don't know, it's just a thought.
Or with the people living there.
Because it would also stop cars pulling out of Tannery Brook Road, which is horrible,
Such a
onto
bad
Tinker Street.
Right.
It's just a thought.
No,
But-
it's just so frustrating, because if we could do 15-mile-an-hour speed limits,
We'd all be
you
good.
could make it really super wide, you put the lines and.
So with that, might be what, that might be the answer too.
And one Tannery Brook, you would put 50-mile-an-hour speed limit on Tannery.
And
Something like that to slow the traffic down, where you could actually.
Mary has one other question.
Yes.
Mary, the shared path from Bearsville currently looks like it's gonna end at the post office and then transition to sidewalks.
Yes, currently.
Okay.
That could change, but that's what it currently looks like. Coming in from Bearsville,
Oh, coming in, I was gonna
the
say.
shared path
yeah.
would stop at the post
Because
office.
going out wouldn't be.
No, coming in from
Oh,
Bearsville, would stop at the post
And
office,
then
would stop,
it's like-
and then transition to sidewalk into Canada.
So they're gonna put sidewalk in front of where where that Overlook Bakery shop is, it's basically no
That is
sidewalk, it's
sidewalk
like
now.
dirt
No, Overlook and
Well,
the Shag House.
further, yeah,
And then
there's
beyond
dirt
that-
and a curb,
And then beyond that, it kind of is a
yeah, it's very narrow.
partial nothing of sidewalk, but we will have an ADA compliant sidewalk to Commode property. On the south side of Tinker
All the way
Street.
to
Yeah, all the way.
All the way to
It's just like that.
Letting Hill.
Yeah. So you'll have sidewalks on both sides of Tinker
5 foot
Street.
sidewalks, both sides.
That's the plan, that's in
So
DOT's
what does that
plan.
do to the street, it makes the street a little narrower?
Yeah, a little bit, but it's all within the right of way, there's no eminent domain. Well, anything Complete Streets is working on is within the same footprint as what DOT is gonna do anyway.
It's gonna do that.
And it's all within the highway, there's no eminent
As it
domain
currently exists.
as it currently exists. Yeah. But that's where we can also
Yeah.
talk trees and all of that, yeah.
It's one new.
And is there another question?
There's a new one,
Which one?
see,
Uh,
that
over
red
in the
button?
lower right, there's a red button.
It
Says
says
You have
one
to
new.
scroll,
Oh, one
yeah,
year.
scroll a little further to see what's on the bottom there, after Mary says.
So it's on the little red button there.
Hey, Hillary.
Hillary,
you go.
thank you for. Oh, that's Hillary.
That Hillary, huh?
I
Now we know who you are, Hillary.
Hillary, I'm so sorry, thank you. Thank you for joining, now I know, we talked about that.
What were you talking
The
about?
Sherman Road.
Oh, the Sherman Road,
Yes.
yes. Okay.
Make Xena Road safer, Hillary. I'm all about it.
Fine.
We're with you.
Had a senior moment there, but thank you.
Okay.
Are we
I
good?
think that's it, yes.
Is there anything else?
Well,
Anybody?
did we set any dates for
Yeah,
the, for the
next
follow-up,
one.
these focus meetings, we didn't set dates?
No, we're gonna do
We're
that.
gonna do that, yeah.
At the next meeting?
No.
No, before that.
In
Or you're gonna do
between.
it offline, you're gonna set the dates.
We're just gonna set those up, and we're gonna, and the only thing about those meetings is they'll be limited in size, only so we can really
Because it's a
focus.
focus
Right.
group, so.
But we need to make sure that we get different opinions in there. I
Sure,
guess.
yeah, sure.
So I'm not quite sure how we're gonna set them up.
Well, we'll set them up at,
Grace has experience.
yeah, we will set them up, with topics. And then people can register for
For
those
those
topics,
topics.
and, but the registration will be cut off. It'll be first come, first served
Okay,
on those topics, and then we'll see
So
where it goes.
Nathan,
yeah.
we put it down here because of those
Yeah,
essential ones we
Yeah.
have. So once the
Yeah,
dates are
yeah,
set and the topics are set, we'll get those out to people and then we'll figure out how people can sign up.
Our next meeting is April 28th.
Yeah, and it'll be here, same format, we'll have Zoom, and everything else.
But the Earth Day is 19.
Yep.
April,
Yeah,
so
for Earth
week
Day.
after.
Earth Day is indeed an Earth Week.
Yeah.
So Earth Day will go from
Yeah.
April 18th to
Pardon?
April 25th.
The 19th,
Yeah,
what time does that start?
10 a.m.
And we're gonna meet where?
Well, I think we're gonna meet people at the trail head, if you like, which is by Rick Folks Field on Yari Hill Road.
Well, should I put, just say meet by the dog park? Is it better to say meet by the
No,
dog?
no, because Yari Hill Road is a new trail.
Okay,
So
okay,
you wanna walk that little bit from Yari Hill into the dog park.
okay.
So we'll
We
meet,
said they can go take a picture at the beginning of that.
yeah, so we wanna meet at the, where the kiosk will hopefully be.
Yeah, but so here's the thing, since I'm the one putting it on the website, I just wanna make sure I've said the right thing. The location I've said is Rick Volt's Field at Dixon Avenue.
And I just,
It's at the intersection. I would say Yari Hill Road.
So Rick Volt's Field at the intersection of Dixon and Aaron.
is it an intersection?
Well, Yari Hill Road and Dixon,
Coming in,
Dixon, they merge.
yeah.
That's where we should.
At the intersection of Dixon
Yeah, just,
Avenue and Aaron Hill Road.
yeah.
Okay, so I will make that change, the intersection.
This saves people having to walk from the library because we don't know how slow people are gonna walk.
Mhm.
I mean, we wanna make it back in time. So we'll meet there and we'll end back at the library. So people can choose where they want to
They
go.
can park either at the Folks Field or at the library.
I mean, there's only so much parking in the library, so people will be parking in the cross field anyway.
There's only so much parking there.
And this is not on the calendar yet because they need to give me an end time. Maybe you all know.
It's,
Okay.
we have to be back at the town for the presentation by WSC.
By,
That's at 12.
by WLs was
What's
that?
that?
Nineteen seventeen.
Well, so, okay, so what I have on the calendar for Sunday is the Dave Holmes talk, walk, sustainable building and landscaping at 1 p.m. I have tree walk with Bush Knot Tree Committee at 2 p.m. I have Earth Art at Mothership Gallery from 2 to 6. I have Save the Birds at 3:30. That's what I have for Sunday. So whatever
So
you're.
from 10 to 1, it's 3 hours for the walk?
Nobody gave me an end time for the walk, that's what I'm saying, I can't push it to the calendar, because the calendar requires me to put a start time and end time. So
So
I
say
have
10
not,
to 12.
what's that?
10 to 12.
So 10 to 12 is a fair, 10 to 12,
But
okay,
it's on Saturday, that's it.
it's Sunday, April 19th,
It's
so I will
Sunday.
say 10 a.m. to noon.
That
Okay,
gives time for chatting. I mean, the walk really only takes about half hour, 45 minutes tops, but it's, you know,
is it smarter to say just, it'd be an hour from 10 to 11, or 11:30 maybe?
11:30.
Okay, I'll do that, and then people can chat as, yeah, because if they think, oh, I gotta walk for a whole hour and then walk back for an hour, then they say that's not for me, so. So I'll say 10:30, 11:30.
Do you have the Land Conservancy event at the library,
What day and time?
the 18th,
Okay. And what time do you have?
12 to 3 p.m.?
I have Watershed Wonders,
That's it.
and I put it on the town
That's the
same
calendar,
day.
because you gave me, I received an end time for that,
Excellent.
this is what I've said
Is
about,
Good.
It's not the same day,
this is my worksheet, I copied and
It's
pasted.
on Saturday. I thought Dave was walking on Saturday too.
Just trying to.
So that's what I said about it. Because that's, the website for Earth Week said that, so I just took it off of the website from Earth Week.
It would be nice if the Land Conservancy were identified. I don't see us, oh, there it is. No, it is co-presented by the Conservancy and the library. Perfect. We're good. Yep. I mean, there's the Facebook description. Sounds like that lines up very cleanly.
Are we sure that Dave is on
Well, what-
Sunday?
But I think I pulled from the website, there is a website for Earth Week.
Right.
I pulled from that, you're on the Wish Like Lancaster
Yeah, no,
website, which is telling
You're
it,
pulling from WEC.
no,
No.
no. There is a specific website put together for Earth Week by Rebecca Brooks. Rebecca
So
Brooks,
it's not the organization. Okay.
correct.
Okay.
Rebecca Brooks put together the website for Earth Week.
Got it.
And so I pulled from her website. for Earth Week.
You got it.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, but if you want me to
I
have.
just, no, I just didn't hear you mention it.
Yeah. If
Guys,
you
we're
want-
gonna
if you
end the
want me to
meeting.
make it look more like that.
All right, sorry, we're ending the meeting.
Again.
Thank you all for joining.
A bientôt.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
See
everybody,
you.
guys. Are you gonna hold the recording?
Thanks, Robin. Thanks, Larry. Thanks,